I'm saying, Sean Carter, you're a piece of shit. Taking Pimp C wasn't bad enough.
It's like, I heard some shit about he had his clothes on or something. I don't know. Like, I don't really know if all this is true, but I just heard parts like,
you just want to go down there and you want to just remove all of the balls from every real gangster in Houston.
I'm like, what happened to my guy?
Right.
And then they come out with the official. It was a mixture of some stuff.
Who was in this Pimp C tape?
All I can tell you, there was a famous R&B chick, and it was a guy that was getting money at the time.
The prescription and something else or something that I don't really know. But with me, I never really heard.
And, you know, Pimp, he used to be in the studio.
Something that would give that closure for me. I never really heard anything tangible or true, like what happened to my guy.
And every now and then he'd have a camcorder, so he was able to get some footage. And he wanted to do something with the footage.
And she was trained at the esteemed Berklee College of Music. Handpicked.
I don't know why he didn't do nothing with it, but if I could have got a hold of that tape, I'd be a billionaire, man.
By my very good friend, Terry Lynn Carrington. Dr. Terry Lynn Carrington.
Victims, potentially, do you think there could be?
Thousands. Who put together Beyonce's entire female band, which was Matthew Knowles' idea. I've talked to hundreds that I deal with still myself. I have 3 victims right now. Because he couldn't get Beyonce to stop people who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. Guess you didn't know your daughter well enough, because she just started all the girls. They do nasty things.
What do you think happened with Kim
Keeping people against their will.
In a scandal that's shaking the very foundation of celebrity culture, shocking allegations have emerged linking Beyonce to a rumored tape involving the late UGK rapper Pimp C.
Putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane.
A tape that many claim was widely whispered about in Houston's underground circles for years. According to insiders, the tape allegedly featured a loose R&B singer, with locals speculating it was Beyonce herself, who at the time was climbing the ranks of superstardom.
The wiretapping of the phones, putting AirTag on children during visits. These are normal practices that these people do.
Pimp C, known for his raw, unapologetic persona and his tendency to record studio moments on his camcorder, was said to have captured the footage with plans to eventually release it.
Out, and Matthew Knowles comes in and he asks Pimp, can I talk to you for a minute? And so they leave out for a couple of minutes and Pimp comes in and he's dying laughing.
However, for unknown reasons, the tape never surfaced, possibly due to industry pressure or threats. And now, years later, the legend of the tape is returning to haunt Beyonce as her name gets dragged into the chaos surrounding Diddy's explosive legal battle.
And we're like, what's wrong? He's like, yo, Matthew Knowles just told me don't f the daughter, man. Please don't. Please, my daughter.
Prosecutors, reportedly armed with damning testimony, intend to expose connections between Diddy and several elite figures in the entertainment world, including Beyoncé and Jay-Z. They are expected to delve into everything from Beyoncé's alleged participation in freakoff parties to what she supposedly knew about trafficking operations involving women being transported across borders. Incidents in which she is rumored to have played a role herself, according to emerging accounts.
He's like, wait a minute, how many dudes are there? And so she's like, oh, it's about 9 or 10 guys, I guess, over there. Where are they now?
These accusations become even more alarming when considering the level of access the Carters had to Diddy's inner circle. Given their 2-decade friendship, filled with business partnerships, lavish vacations, parties, and shared social connections, many are now questioning how Beyoncé and Jay-Z could remain so close to Diddy without being aware of his now public misconduct.
They're in the soundstage, they're kind of watching, watching her film. What is she wearing?
Some speculate that the Carters may not only have known, they might have actively helped cover it up. The situation turns darker still when looking at Beyoncé's own past, which prosecutors allegedly intend to unearth in court. They're expected to discuss everything from her real age when she began dating Jay-Z to her reported presence at freakoff-style gatherings, painting a picture that sharply contrasts the clean-cut image her team has carefully cultivated for decades.
They describe the outfit, and he's like, yo, clear the room.
Wow.
So they immediately come over to us, and they kick all of us out.
This brings renewed attention to the circumstances of Pimp C's death, which has always carried an air of mystery. Though officially ruled an accidental overdose due to lean and sleep apnea, others close to him, like DJ Paul of 3-6 Mafia, claim the scene was suspicious. Pimp was found face down like he was praying, blood was around him, and candles had burned all the way out, suggesting he'd been dead for a while.
Send us up to our dressing rooms.
Wow.
And we're told to stay there.
Wow.
Until we have to shoot.
Okay.
We're not allowed to watch Beyonce dance anymore in the video.
Too Short and other hip-hop legends have also voiced doubt, insisting the details never added up. Some conspiracy theories even suggest that Pimp C may have been silenced due to what he knew about Jay-Z, Diddy, and Beyonce, particularly if he was romantically involved with Beyonce or possessed footage that could have ruined multiple careers. Supporting these theories is the story told by Bun B, who recalled Jay-Z's jealous behavior when he learned Beyonce was in the studio with Pimp C. Jay allegedly called the studio, found out Beyonce was wearing a revealing outfit, and immediately demanded all the men, including Pimp, be removed. Bun B also recounted an incident where Beyonce's father, Matthew Knowles, pulled Pimp C aside and begged him not to pursue his daughter romantically, a plea that, in hindsight, seems eerily desperate and telling. Beyond these stories, what adds even more fire to the controversy is the potential legal exposure. Beyonce and Jay-Z have already been mentioned in connection to Cassie's lawsuit against Diddy, which initially spanned 60 pages before being narrowed to 35. According to sources, the removed portions included detailed claims about Beyonce and Jay-Z witnessing Diddy physically assault Cassie at a party, with Beyonce reportedly screaming at Diddy in anger, calling his behavior unacceptable, and questioning Jay-Z's loyalty for defending his longtime friend. This moment reportedly caused Beyonce to reconsider her respect for Jay-Z and led to her leaving the party with others who were disturbed by the violence. Meanwhile, Cassie, aware of Diddy's connection to Jay-Z, chose not to leave with Beyonce out of fear of being tracked. The potential for these accounts to be brought up in court adds a new dimension to Beyonce's involvement and shows just how entangled she and Jay-Z may be in Diddy's world. Add to this Jaguar writes chilling claims that the Carters participate in trafficking, with allegations that people were put on planes unconscious, tracked with air tags, and forced into exploitation. And the whole picture becomes more disturbing. Wright claims she personally knows victims who are prepared to testify against both Jay-Z and Beyonce, stating they engaged in horrifying acts consistent with what Diddy is being accused of. She even compared the victims' experiences to the tragic fates of Aaliyah and Kim Porter, suggesting a broader pattern of silencing and erasure. Furthermore, the rumor that Pimp C had an intimate connection with Beyonce, one that threatened the empire Jay-Z was building, feeds speculation that his untimely death may have been more than just a tragedy. According to those close to him, Pimp C wasn't afraid to speak his mind and expose the truth, no matter how dangerous it was. He openly criticized industry heavyweights like Diddy and Jay-Z, called out corruption, and refused to play the game. In the cutthroat world of entertainment, where image is currency and secrets are power, that kind of defiance can be fatal. If Beyonce and Jay-Z are indeed called to the stand, not only could their long-standing reputation be tarnished, but a flood of buried scandals could come rushing to the surface, potentially implicating them in criminal behavior and unmasking the dark underbelly of hip-hop royalty. What began as Diddy's trial might very well become the unraveling of an entire era. And the question the public is now asking isn't just whether Beyonce is innocent, it's how deep this rabbit hole goes, and how many other icons might fall as the truth comes to light. And whether this trial could finally expose an industry that has spent decades silencing victims in exchange for money, fame, and power. With so many allegations swirling, one thing is clear. If the dominoes begin to fall, Beyonce and Jay-Z's carefully guarded legacy may not survive the storm. As the spotlight intensifies on this growing scandal, many in the industry are bracing for a reckoning unlike anything the entertainment world has ever seen. Legal analysts have begun speculating that Beyoncé and Jay-Z, once viewed as the gold standard for celebrity power couples, may be facing not only reputational fallout, but also the real possibility of legal entanglements, depending on how deeply their names are woven into Diddy's case. The prosecution's strategy appears to be targeting the broader ecosystem of enablers and silent participants, those who may not have directly committed crimes, but were allegedly present, aware, or even complicit through their silence. In this climate, silence is no longer protection, it's potential evidence. Beyoncé, who for decades has maintained a tightly curated public image as a symbol of empowerment, control, and perfection, may now find herself forced to answer questions that challenge everything the public thought it knew about her. This includes deeply sensitive issues like when exactly her romantic relationship with Jay-Z began, how much she knew about Diddy's behind-the-scenes lifestyle, and whether she was merely an onlooker or an active participant in any of the behavior that has since come under scrutiny. Her presence at certain parties, her connections to various celebrities, and even old footage or social media posts could all become exhibits in court, potentially reframing her legacy in a completely different light. Meanwhile, Jay-Z, long revered for his business savvy and transformation from hustler to billionaire mogul, is also facing uncomfortable scrutiny. The idea that he may have used his wealth, influence, and powerful connections not just to build his empire, but to suppress damaging truths is gaining traction among critics and conspiracy theorists alike. Stories of artists like Pimp C being blackballed, silenced, or mysteriously vanishing after crossing paths with powerful figures have resurfaced in a major way. Some now theorize that Pimp C, who was known to be vocal and fearless, may have died not simply due to personal health issues or substance abuse, but because he stood in the way of a larger agenda, a theory bolstered by his known animosity toward Jay-Z, his refusal to take money from Rockefeller, and his alleged intimate connection to Beyoncé, which would have posed a direct threat to the Carter brand if exposed. There's also growing speculation about why so many celebrities tied to Diddy, Jay-Z, or both have experienced untimely deaths, career implosions, or mental breakdowns, often under mysterious circumstances. From Kim Porter to Aaliyah, and now with whispers involving Cassie and others, a dark pattern appears to be forming. One that paints the entertainment industry not as a place of glitz and glamour, but of systemic abuse, manipulation, and secret dealings kept alive by a code of silence. The rabbit hole continues even deeper when factoring in statements from whistleblowers like Jaguar Wright, who claims she has personally worked with victims who allege the Carters engaged in disturbing criminal behavior involving coercion, confinement, and even cross-border trafficking. Wright has stated that these are not isolated incidents, but part of a repeated practice involving private jets, sedated individuals, and coordinated efforts to keep victims quiet through threats, money, and surveillance. If even a fraction of these claims hold weight in court or are corroborated by victims, it could mark the beginning of a historic unraveling akin to the fall of Harvey Weinstein, only on a potentially much grander scale. There is even speculation that the legal system may use Beyoncé and Jay-Z's potential knowledge of Diddy's actions as leverage, essentially daring them to turn on him to save themselves. Such a move would be unprecedented, but not impossible, especially if prosecutors believe the Carters possess critical inside information that could help dismantle a much larger operation. Legal experts say this tactic has been used before in high-profile conspiracy cases involving organized crime, human trafficking, and political corruption, where key players are given leniency or immunity in exchange for exposing the bigger fish. Public opinion is also beginning to shift. Social media has erupted with theories, clips, and old interviews being re-examined through a new lens. Once dismissed rumors are now being treated as clues. Long-forgotten quotes from Beyoncé, cryptic lyrics from Jay-Z, and behind-the-scenes footage from Rock Nation parties are being dissected for hidden meanings and possible confessions. Fans who once celebrated these celebrities are now asking hard questions. Was their success purely based on talent and hustle, or was something darker lurking underneath? And if the stories about freakoffs, trafficking, and silencing are true, how many other victims are still out there, unseen and unheard? There's also growing awareness that this may not just be about Diddy, Jay-Z, or Beyoncé, but an entire system that protects the powerful at any cost, an elite circle where abuse is hidden behind platinum records, billion-dollar brands, and philanthropic photo ops. The trial could potentially open Pandora's box on everything from Hollywood exploitation to the music industry's systemic cover-ups, exposing not just individuals, but an entire infrastructure designed to silence victims and protect abusers. As this case unfolds, the world will be watching, not just for justice in the case of Diddy, but for the broader implications of what happens when the curtain is pulled back on celebrity power and privilege. If Beyonce and Jay-Z are truly as close to Diddy as the evidence suggests, then it's no longer a question of if they knew, it's a question of how much they knew, how long they stayed silent, and whether they actively participated in keeping these secrets buried. For the first time, their legacy as icons, philanthropists, and role models is being challenged by a narrative that could completely rewrite their place in cultural history. And if the allegations involving Pimp C, trafficking, and freakoffs make it into a courtroom, the public may never look at America's most powerful music couple the same way again. This isn't just a celebrity trial, it's a cultural reckoning, and if the dominoes start to fall, it's unclear just how far the collapse will go.